I get asked pretty regularly how I pack carry-on only when we go on our vacations. And so I wanted to make this video not only to help me every year so I remember what I did, but to help you in case you need to know how to do this as well. So just a little bit of a background why I started this in the first place. We went to Alaska a few years ago and my luggage was lost on the way home, and I was devastated that all of my things were going to be lost. So it was fine because it was on the way home, so obviously I have clothes to wear at home, but I brought a lot of my favorite pieces and I didn't want them to have to be replaced. So, and some of them really couldn't be replaced. So when they did find my luggage in a few days, but it has now given me all of this trauma along with it that I'm always terrified that my luggage is going to be lost. So this is what I do, and I have researched this and I have watched a ton of other YouTubers and TikToks on people who do this because this is a thing that people do that I didn't realize. But I do just want to say, when we go to Europe, everything is really tiny in Europe. So if you take a taxi, they can only fit 2 or 3 really small suitcases in the back when you're getting off of the plane to get wherever you're going. And we were on a high-speed train going in between cities, myself and my husband and our sons. And I had to stand with our gigantic suitcases while all these European people are putting their teeny tiny little carry-on suitcases on the top rack and sitting down. So I was like, I'm challenging myself. I'm going to do this. I am a chronic overpacker, but I am not anymore. So this is how it all starts. You're going to think this is excessive, but this is the best way for me to do it. So I get a notebook and I start by writing down all the places that we're going and every single day of the trip and what the weather will be like. We generally cruise, so we go to different ports, so we're in different cities in different countries, and wherever we leave out of, we always spend a couple days there and maybe a couple days somewhere else. So what I do is I will plan out the entire trip and I will write the weather. Now I'll research what their weather was the year before and historically what their weather is, and sometimes I'll find what their weather is going to be, what they forecast the weather to be the next year. And then I write all of that down in my notebook, and I'll say whatever city it's going to be with the weather. Then I start to plan the things that I want to bring, and I look at the weather on those days because in different cities, obviously it can be cooler or hotter, especially this year we're going to Rome. Rome is going to be hotter than it's going to be in Barcelona. So then I decide what I want to bring and I make a little spreadsheet. This will be in my book later on, but I change it I start this months in advance, and I will change this a million times. This is probably my 20th copy of this piece of paper that will end up in this notebook. I map out the clothes that I think I'm going to wear, and then anything that I take out of my suitcase goes on a sheet next to it, and then I decide if I want it to go. I can sub things in or out. And then I have a separate page of all of the things that I need to bring in a carry-on or things that I just don't want to forget. Then what I do is I make a list of all of these clothes. So I will literally say white cardigan, black cardigan, jeans, and I make a list of all of those things. And I start to put my outfits together, and I'll do that by just moving the little tiles like this, like plain outfit, and the bags that I'll have. And then every single day I'll say where we'll be, what the weather is, and what we will be doing that day. So it looks like this, and they're not totally glued down yet because I'm not positive if that's what I'm going to be wearing. But so for instance, this is saying Barcelona, it's gonna be 49 in the morning and it'll get up to 63 as a high. So I map out my outfit and then what I may be wearing at night if we're going to be, like for instance, on this trip we're gonna be going to a flamenco show. So I'm going to wanna be a little more dressed up. So I make sure I plan for that. So I'll take that list and then I tally every single thing that I have in my suitcase and how many times I'm going to wear it. If I'm only going to wear something once or not at all that I thought I was going to wear, that has to come out of the suitcase because it hasn't earned its spot in my suitcase. A carry-on is tiny, so you have to be able to fit everything. I do have some tricks on how to do that, but it's so helpful to make that list and make your little tallies, which I did it with this, but I'm pretty solid in this, so I don't have it right here to show you. But you'll start to see that you bring so many things that you really don't think that you you bring so many things that you really aren't going to need, and it's a waste of space. So this notebook comes in super handy. I have tons of stuff in the notebook. I put little tabs on the side that help me. In the very beginning of my notebook, I know the sizes of my suitcase and my 2 boys' suitcases because I also pack them carry-on only. And then I go to the airlines, wherever we got our flights, and I check what their airline allowance is. So you generally are allowed a carry-on and a personal item. I bought the Luka duffel bag, Luka duffel. It's by Calpak, and this is an awesome bag. It's made to be the exact dimensions of what a personal item is allowed, and it fits so much stuff. It's insane, and because it's cushy and padded, these handles are super comfortable on your shoulder for if you have to carry the bag and you're not rolling it, but we'll get to that. So little notebook, huge help. I plan out the entire trip. We have hourly itineraries. I make my family crazy because we go with the 4 grandparents as well. And everything is planned down to a T because you have to know what you're going to be doing in order to know what you're going to wear and what you should wear. So then I have all my other notes in here, all the notes that are like toiletries you can't forget, anything that I made a note from the year before, like don't forget this, you used this, you didn't use this, this was helpful. And then I keep all my notes in this little notebook, and it really goes everywhere with me because I'm always thinking of something that needs to be done. I have like a things to remember before you leave list, extra money that I'm going to need for different things like Ubers and hotels and things like that. And then anything planning wise goes into this notebook. So another note on my clothes, I will take this clothing rack and it will live inside of our living room off to the side for sometimes 3 months. And I wear all of these clothes normally on every day. This is part of my wardrobe. So I have to keep going back and forth, but this is what's easiest for me. You don't have to do this, but this works for me. I make sure that everything sort of mixes and matches, and I add things and I take things away, and I keep them organized in a very certain way. For instance, my clothes that I'm going to be wearing on the plane are over here with my t-shirt and my tank top, and everything is just sort of organized in a certain way. And as I change my little piece of paper, things come out of here and different things go in. You can see I have 2 different scarves that I'm bringing because in the 40s in the morning for me is really cold. This is a super heavy jacket thing there, they call it. And it's really heavy wool, so that can also be another layer that I wear. I've made the mistake of not bringing enough comfortable clothes, and on the cruise, I do tend to like to be a little more comfortable, so I added a sweatshirt, extra sweatpants. So I plan accordingly. I have like 2 pairs of sweatpants that are going with me. Obviously pajamas. I'm always freezing, so I make sure that I have a lot of layers, things that can be layered. I think layering is a really big piece to this, especially because, like I said, it's going to be in the 40s in the morning. So I'm not going to want to wear a jacket because I'm not going to want to carry a jacket later in the day. So I will wear like a long sleeve t-shirt or a t-shirt, just depending on how warm it's going to be that day. And then I'll wear a thin, this is a cashmere. I find that the cashmere is really light, but it's really warm for when I'm always freezing. So I'll wear this thin cashmere sweater, and then I'll put another layer of like another cashmere cardigan over it, and then a scarf, and I'm pretty good for the day. Or I can wear this here jacket over that, and it's not that cumbersome to carry around. And of course, always a scarf. Different levels of how heavy my pants are, just depending on, again, how cold or how hot it's going to be. On this trip, we're going to be pulling up to Cinque Terre in a boat, and I don't feel like the ocean is probably going to be that warm. So I'm making sure when we're on this boat that I have several layers that I can put on and then take off when we get where we're going, and it's not so cold anymore. So once I have my wardrobe as put together as I think I possibly can, I'll get all my shoes situated. Rule of thumb, I try to only bring 3 pairs of shoes, which is actually a lot for this type of thing. But some of my shoes are really small, like able to be folded and small. These are teaks, and I can wear these on the boat for the dinners, and they do fold up. They even fold up into this tiny little bag that I don't need to take, but they fit pretty well in little nooks and crannies. So something like this will come Right now, I'll just bring a throw down pair of flip-flops because again, on the ship, I may not want to be wearing sneakers or something like that. So these can fit in little different nooks and crannies. These may not even go on the trip. This is just another thing that I leave out because I have to decide. I'm going to be bringing sneakers, obviously, so that I'm comfortable. And then I always try to bring, if it's going to be somewhat cooler, like a pair of boots, and I stuff all of my socks inside of my boots. I do wear socks that go up to my knees because again, freezing always. Even if it's 70, I'll still be cold. I don't really warm up till around 75. So I'll wear my socks to my knees so that I'm not absolutely freezing. And then I have like I wear a tank top every single day, no matter what the weather is. So I have my tank tops, a few extra t-shirts. I do wear a lot of white, so it's not that hard for me to match certain things. The next thing I do is the most important part. This part is really key to this whole thing working. So on Amazon, I got these. I don't do packing cubes. Some people swear by them. I don't use them. I use the storage bags, and they just come with this little pump. So it's not even an electric pump, so that I don't have to worry about it dying or a motor dying or batteries running out or anything like that. And this part is key. So I'm going to try really hard to show you how I do this, but like do the fast forwardy thing on the video, and we'll see how good I am at that. But I'm just going to try to do it on the table in front of me, and you'll be able to see what I can do. Okay, so I already had done this bag and then forgot to put something in it, so I'm just going to talk from here. These are all of my pants. You fold the pants to the exact like dimensions of the bag going widthwise and then halfway, and you put so there's 4 pairs of pants, so I put the 2 pairs in and the other 2 pairs of pants in. And it's not the easiest, science way of doing this, but you just do your best. Just make sure that when you're putting your clothes in, make sure when you're folding your clothes that you're minimizing as many of the wrinkles as you can, because you're about to vacuum seal these and you're going to vacuum seal wrinkles into your clothes. So I try really hard to not do tons and tons of wrinkles as I go. I'll be a little more efficient than this when I'm actually doing it, but for the sake of the video, you have to sort of smooth things out when they get in there. It's just a basic clamshell suitcase. I have tried some different suitcases, but this one works the best for me. I take the larger of the 2 vacuum sealed bags and put it in there. I'll put some of my bras over on this side, or if I have any other intimates and whatnot, hair bonnet that I wear to bed. And then I take my sweaters, which are pretty small, and stick them. I vacuum sealed them. Look at those sweaters. Don't take up that much room, and there's 5 of them in there, and they're vacuum sealed over here. This side of the suitcase has my, it'll have some of my socks, some of my underwear. There's like, you find that side that has the rails on it, and there's like an inch of space in there, and you don't want that to go to waste. So really quick, I just want to talk about my toiletry bag really quick. Last year I tried something different, and I put all of my wet items in the little bag that they make you put it in the quart size, and I had my jewelry somewhat separate, I had my makeup separate, and everything was in different bags, and it was so confusing. I couldn't figure out where anything was. I've had this, it was big and I didn't want to bring it, but I love this. This is from Amazon. So the front compartment you can put jewelry in, which I still don't use for the trips when we're going overseas, because I like to keep my jewelry right in my personal item with me, but you can put your jewelry in here. There's a separate pocket on the back where I will often just throw just different things, Q-tips and Band-Aids and things like that. But I found that on the last trip, I really missed that my toiletry bag wasn't hanging, and it was driving me crazy the whole time we were there. So this one does hang, and so this is how I do it. I don't fill this to the max. I know there's a glare, but in this pocket right now are some of my wet items. One of my boys will probably carry this because I pack for all of us, so I can't fit that all into one quart size bag. So I'll give this to one of the boys to put into their bag and they'll take it with them. But then it's like you have all these separate things and it drives me crazy. So when we get there, I just kind of stick it in here so I know where it is. I can put my makeup at the top. Regular things go in here, and then this is sort of my little first aid area where I put different medicines and things that we may need when we're on our trip. So I usually put all of my shoes in little cloth bags, but for the purpose of this video, I didn't do that. And so I stuck my boots with my socks over here, my other 2 pairs of shoes over here. I'll be wearing my sneakers, and I got that toiletry bag there. So basically toiletry bag and shoes are all on one side. I never unzip the expander. I tuck my little sides in. Some airlines are really, really strict and make you like weigh things and do different things, but I always check to see how strict the airline is before we fly with them. The one we're going to be flying this time isn't, so I'm not overly worried about it, but I still wouldn't open the expander. And that's it. It all fits. All right, suitcase all packed. I worry about my personal item. Like I said before, this is the CalPack Luca duffel, and it really fits a ton of things. I have a ton of room in here right now, and I don't have anything else really to put in here. So I have my second scarf that I put in here. I'll wear the other one on the plane. This is a Scout travel bag that I'll take with us because some days I might, like when we're in Rome, that's going to be a full day and I'll need to pack some extra snacks and things like that, and we have a driver that day, so I'm just going to leave the bag in the car. But this is a really cool bag. It just, you know, it's like this, and then it's a crossbody, and the bag that it comes in clips inside in case I need an extra little pouch and so I don't lose it. So it's an extra little zipper bag, and then I'll have that for that day with extra snacks and Band-Aids and things like that that my kids might need. So I keep that in this bag. I'll probably change this one out. I change my mind a lot when it comes to the little bags. I don't know why, but this is big. Only half of it is full, but it has all of our, we need multiple plug converters because there's several of us that will be using plugs. I bring a little noise maker because my husband needs noise when he's sleeping. My husband brings a full suitcase. He does not do carry-on only because let's not get started on that. He's not going to do it. So I always bring the little suitcase scale for him. I have the clutch external charger, another one of these, and I'll put my phone and my watch charger and all of that in here as well. So there's that bag. This is what I keep my jewelry in. Again, it's just from Amazon, but I keep my jewelry in that little pouch. I always have different things like Ziploc bags, all different sizes, and some hydration packets. And I keep all of that stuff because you always end up needing something to be put in a Ziploc bag, and then you don't have a Ziploc bag. And I have tissues and baby wipes and all sorts of things like that, an extra hair clip, Lysol wipes for on the plane where it's really gross, tissues, like I said. I have my sunglasses. They have side pouches, so I put my sunglasses in there. There's a really cool side pouch that you can open up, and if you unzip it, you can stick shoes in here. And who knows, maybe a pair of shoes will end up in here. I think they all fit pretty good right now. It's like the clown car of things just coming out of here. This was definitely an investment. These are the Cadence containers. Last year on our trip, I just bought the cheap Amazon, like you just screw the little top off and they were little, for my liquids. And that was a big mistake because on the way home, they completely exploded and that was a mess and I had to throw a ton of stuff away and it just wasted product that I didn't use. So this is a Cadence. You can get this container. They are an investment, but I know that we travel enough that I'll be using it. This is a medium size and you can get expanders to put on it. It says moisturizer on the top. There's these little interchangeable tiles. And then I also have small ones that are This size, they come in tons of different colors. I don't use a ton of product, so for me, this is easy. And at the moment it doesn't want to open, but I don't really need to open it to show you. And then I just have like other liquids. This is all for my liquids. So I keep those other liquids in here. And then it has this really cool little snap top. It like folds into itself. And then it has this little elastic handle. Again, this might not be for you. Maybe you just want to use that other bag that I put inside of my toiletry bag, but I keep this in here because I'm going to need to access the liquids when we get to the airport. In the past, I've brought my designer bags, but I have decided not to do that anymore. I feel like they're getting so banged up on the plane and on the ship. It's just not worth it to me since they're such an investment in themselves. So this is like an old bag I got from Target. And I sort of, even though I'm not supposed to have another bag on the plane, but I'll have a sweatshirt on and I'll have my shacket on. So this will sort of go just underneath that. And I keep our passports in here. Ibuprofen, chapstick, mints, my phone, my wallet, just things that I need to have close to me the whole time that we're traveling. So that was just in here. Here's my bigger purse for when we're traveling during the day. I have the next size up of this. This is a Boulevard bag, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna bring that bigger one this year, which is why it's not in there right now, but it may end up in there at some point. And then in the front of this bag, there's a gigantic zip. And in this zip, I will put my little, my notebook that I take with me. I'll put my Kindle in here, and really the pocket is gigantic, so you can fit whatever else needs to go in there. I try not to make my bag look too big so that if anybody were to question me, but it never really is a problem for me. And I think this last part is an optional bag. This is not something that everybody is going to bring. This is just where my high maintenance comes in and my husband's high maintenance as well. So this is also from Amazon. It's a backpack. Again, it's dimensions that fit the personal item. And these are the things that not everybody's going to bring, but we bring. Because my husband checks his bag, he will carry a backpack, but then he gets to bring an extra bag on the plane. So he will just sort of carry this on the plane. He complains and says I couldn't have got him a better color, but this is the one I liked. So he'll carry this on the plane, and in this bag that fits a ton of stuff that you can't really see from your angle, but that's okay. He has to have a fan when he's asleep, hence the noisemaker. So we bring this fan with us on every trip. The problem with the fan that we learned in Venice is you need to have like a heavy duty converter because our plugs are different than theirs, but this is also considered high voltage. So that somewhat lives in this bag. Most people don't travel with a travel fan, but we do. I keep all of our cruise lanyards in this bag. And the last thing in this, I carry my neck pillow with us. Most people bring those. And here's my high maintenance. My husband keeps our room at a whopping 0 degrees at all times at home or on vacation. This just came today. This is my my travel heat blanket because I sleep with a heat blanket at home. I will vacuum seal this and shrink it down, and that will also go in this bag. So a little bit of each thing that he and I need to have to sleep a little bit better. And I'm hoping that this will fit somewhere else so we don't even need to bring this bag, but if it doesn't, it's just gonna come with us on this trip. We did it on the last trip and it worked fine. So I hope this helped you in any way. I really do bring a ton of stuff with us. And in a lot of the videos I've watched, people don't bring as much, but I still like to have some of the comforts of things that I like. And so I still try to figure out a way to fit them. Not everybody has the husband that will have the extra bag if you both try to do the carry-on, but mine won't do that. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna use that to my advantage and I'll make you carry an extra bag that I can't carry. And not everybody has 2 kids that they can throw liquids in their bags, which I will do at times, or at least for one of them. But you try to find a way to make it work for you. And I will put the pump in this bag as well. And as you can see, it's nowhere near full. Oh, one more thing. I always pack a bag of snacks for my kids for the way there on the plane and a bag of snacks for the way back. Their way back snacks will go into this bag. Obviously, their way there snacks will go into their own backpacks. And if you're wondering why I also pack them carry-on only, On our last trip, it was $75, and on this trip actually, to check a bag, to check any bag. And so for us, for 4 of us, that would have been $600 there and back combined. So I'm not trying to spend an extra $600. So definitely make sure you check with your airlines, because the ticket to Europe is expensive enough. I'm not trying to spend another $600 right at the gate, or $300 at the one gate and $300 at the other at the end of the trip, when you don't want to pay for anything because you've spent so much money. So definitely check what your carry-on policy is on your airline, along with the dimensions of your bags, what they allow. On our last flight, we were only allowed to have a carry-on, 2 combined, a carry-on and a personal item, and they could only be 25 pounds. So they ended up checking my bag at the gate, which is also a benefit. If they say to you, like, you have to check your bag and you're at the gate already, it's free. So hey, listen, if I just got out of spending $75, I'm more than happy to give them my free bag. I know that it's on the plane with me and it has its Apple AirTag in it, even though that it's a huge anxiety thing for me to not have my bag with me, but at least I know that I just watched it get on the plane with us. So there's a great chance that it's going to get there with us. And that's it. I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And thanks.